I just started reading a very festive new holiday romance called
Sure?
Stranded with the Kraken. Obviously. It is really more of a novella. The audiobook is only like 4 hours long, but it does take place during Christmas for some reason. It just happens to. I assume, I haven't finished it, but I assume that they will be snowed in and then just continue having to bone, and then that's the setup. But, you know, it's your pretty standard woman meets shifter monster. But this is a society where monsters are known to exist, but they all have to be in hiding for some reason. And so if you want to find a monster to have relations with, there is an extensive vetting process on an exclusive monster dating app to be matched with them. But even then, you don't even know what kind of monster they're going to be, so it's a surprise. So this lady rolls up to this giant mansion. Of course, he's rich. And this guy welcomes her into his pool house. That's weird. A pool house? It's Christmas time. What are we doing out here? Turns out he's a Kraken, which, you know, whatever. That's normal. But the piece of absolute innovation, the thing that AI could never in a million years do, pure human creativity. So, of course, he is the Kraken. So he needs to be in the water. So he has a big pool in his house. But he needs to have sex with this lady in the pool. And so to accommodate that, the pool water has been magically... He hired a witch to magically turn the pool water into lube. And I didn't know what to do with that. Mm-hmm. It is still saltwater based, which seems like it may present some challenges. But so far, they seem to be enjoying it. But yeah, happy holidays, I guess. This lady's getting her stocking stuffed. And also the other absolutely deranged...
Happy holidays.
The other absolutely deranged thing about this book is the cover art, which is not good. And features the lady sort of cutely dangling her feet into the pool. And you see the Kraken man from behind. And the top half of him is a sexy man. And the bottom half is a sexy Kraken. But the outfit that she is wearing... She is just fully sticking her jeans in the water. She is fully clothed, long pants on, shins down, soaking wet in the magical saltwater lube. Why? Why could you not have illustrated her even just rolling her pants up a little bit? I don't know. But this has presented a lot of questions. Yeah, but it's very festive. So that's how I'm celebrating the reason for the season, as it were.
Yeah, we are recording this well before December.
It is mid-November currently. But, you know, it's never too early to keep Kraken in your heart all year round.
Krakenmas.
This is also a world in which it is explicitly Christmas. It's not just winter festival time, which means Christianity exists in this world, which has a lot of theological implications. It's like
I would like to know what sort of monster Jesus was.
It's like having the Pope car in the Disney Cars franchise. There's just a lot. But it doesn't seem to bother the lady and the Kraken. Was
Car Jesus crucified on like one of the like the tow trucks that has the like crucifix-esque like toe thing? Have you seen
they have
those?
like sort of the crossbar shape. Yeah. Did they pop his tires?
Tire stigmata. This is how to break a former pastor's kid.
Mm-hmm. Listen,
any sort of theological bullshit.
I was broken a long time ago, and now my brain is going to... There's a lot of very erotic imagery about the stigmata. This is a very common theme in art. There's holes. People are going to do stuff with them. But people always have viewed them. This is like an established artistic historical thing. So now tying that to the car situation. Fascinating. What kind of car was Jesus? Was he like a carriage, like a chariot before they had cars? Or does that then get into car evolution, which car Christians don't believe in?
Model T. Uh, something steam powered. It has been a long time since we've recorded.
Yeah, we've been fucking busy, but
there's been a lot going on.
We're here, we're queer, we're ready for Murderbot. Should we get into it? I just had another vision. So I was like anticipating, okay, we're going to start the episode. Rin's going to say hello, everyone. And then I was just thinking about being in pole class yesterday and the move, the hello boys. And I was imagining like, hello, everyone. Which is very...
Our listeners should be so lucky.
They honestly, they should. We haven't
Hello,
forgotten
everyone.
how to be bizarrely horny. So that's a good start.
I'm so glad. Hello, everyone. And welcome back to another episode of The Fandom Apprentice. For all of you, it hasn't been that long. For us, it's been a hot fucking minute. My name is Rin. I'm one of your hosts. I'm a lifelong nerd who consumed a lot of sci-fi and fantasy as a youth and has spent my life trying to find other random friends to foist these fantasy and sci-fi stories onto so that I have somebody to yell about it with.
Hello, I'm Sam. I'm the other one. I have had this series thoroughly foisted upon me, and now we are at the last stage of our journey with Murderbot.
Oh my god, I haven't thought about that in forever.
Beginning to cover the TV show, and then between this and the next episode where we wrap up the current season, that's going to have covered all of the Murderbot stuff, which is wild.
All of the Murderbot stuff that's currently out. We will be getting a season 2 of the show, and I believe 3 more books.
Yes.
So we'll return to this, but I think we'll make our big announcement about what follows next time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So today we are discussing the first 6 episodes of the Apple TV Plus science fiction action comedy television series, according to Wikipedia, which just feels like, playing genre roulette, and they wanted as many options as they could get. The adaptation of Martha Wells's books, Murderbot. We have spent the last several months going through the written Murderbot Diaries content, which actually I do have commentary about the word content as we get into this.
Oh yes, I'm sure.
So if you have read the books, have not read the books, have listened to our other episodes, this season of the show pretty closely mirrors All Systems Red. We will be discussing some of the significant changes that they made. Mm-hmm. But by and large, this season of the show, it's 10 episodes long, covers the same story as All Systems Red. So we probably won't get too deep into the story. We'll spend a lot more time talking about visuals and sound and how they've adapted this for screen.
Yes, we will be going into this with the assumption that you, our listeners, know who these characters are and vaguely know the plot of All Systems Red. If you don't know or are not familiar, I would find a way to brush up, because we will probably not be explaining in super great detail who Murderbot is and who Dr. Mensa is, etc. But there are definitely, like Rin said, some big changes that we will get into the details of. Some new friends, some friends who are missing. So is there anything else that we want to frame it with before we begin, or do we want to go right into the episodes first and then other opinions after?
I think we can go right into the episodes and we'll scatter in things along the way.
Okay, cool. So in terms of plot summaries for the episodes, I didn't because they are so very, very short. If you cut out the title sequence and the credits, each one is 17 minutes. So I just have kind of a quick vibe line for each one. So episode 1, we meet the cast and we start our mission. And that's basically it.
Basically.
So things that I noticed for this one, we start getting to see SecUnit hacking its governor module, which is very cool. We don't see that in the books. It's in the midst of a mining thing, expedition, mining contract, mining something. It's supervising miners. And so we get to see all of the humans around it being miserable, get some good set dressing, see the grand moment of freedom happen. Very cool. And then cutting to the opening credits, they are positively delightful. It's so fun and playful and colorful, which the first time that I watched it, I was really excited about because I was afraid that we were going to be getting a very kind of sterile, gray, boring sci-fi environment, just because that's what I've come to expect. But it's cute. It has kind of a little claymation vibe almost. Everyone is like these little toys and they're floating around in space. It's very cute, very fun.
Yeah, little action figures.
Yeah.
I do notice the intro sequence starts on the gun port.
True.
Which feels weirdly symbolic. But the other highlights of the intro sequence are Murderbot running away from a group hug.
Yeah.
And also a bunch of other sec units.
Mm-hmm.
But it is delightful. But the music behind that intro sequence, I feel like was my first hint. I thought we were going to be getting more of like a drama.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't kind of realize it was going to be a comedy.
Yeah.
Until you get the really bouncy intro sequence. Because that music is... It feels like the intro to a comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but there's just enough tension to it to show you like we're still going to be, dramatic and a little bloody at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely some hard tone shifts at various points. But I think the intro kind of sets up that it's going to be layered. It's going to be a layered experience. Mm-hmm. Then post-title sequence, we get to meet Prezox, a slightly reduced crew. We don't have an Oversay or a Valescu in this iteration. Are we missing anyone else?
Not that I think. No, I don't think so.
So we have all the others. I love the casting. I think they're all great. They're so adorably cringy. And this continues to be a theme. They're just the most over-the-top space hippies. Pin Lee brought a drum with them to the survey site for some reason.
A cajon.
Is that the type of drum?
It's a drum block.
Very nice.
The other instrument that Rothy's playing at some points is definitely just in automaton, which is like those little
the guys
they look like an eighth note with the squishy mouth, and you slide. Yeah, it makes the it's like noises. It's definitely one of those, just with a little skin on it.
Yeah, and we see them just dancing and painting their habitat, and we are very much getting Sec Unit's impression of them as a bunch of bumbling, stupid, kind of embarrassing hippies. But they're also so endearing.
Well, and you mentioned you were afraid of a sort of sterile, gray environment.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we don't have it is because of them. Because they paint over this sterile, gray, beige, universal, pre-printed habitat.
Mm-hmm.
Of which a lot of that is actually practical set, I learned.
Oh, very nice.
They did do quite a bit of CG work and digital effects work. But most of the habitat set and most of the hopper is actual physical set.
I love that.
Alexander Skarsgård, who plays Murderbot and was one of the executive producers, did say that they were trying to use practical effects wherever possible.
Oh, I didn't know he was an executive producer. That's cool.
He was. We'll talk more about production, I think, next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have so many cast intros to do. But I guess now is a good time to talk about the actors playing Prezox.
Yeah, sure.
Our titular character is played by Alexander Johan Hjalmar Skarsgård, who is a Swedish-American actor. He is known for a lot of different things. The things I recognized from his resume include Zoolander, Tarzan, Godzilla vs. Kong, Bound and Down, True Blood. He was in 76 episodes of True Blood.
Oh, damn. I've never seen True Blood, but 76 episodes, that's a lot.
He was a main cast member in True Blood. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, What We Do in the Shadows, Succession, and a number of other things that, because I don't watch a lot of movies, I have not seen.
Yeah, I remember the internet reaction, and which we can talk about, maybe put a pin in that for slightly later, but people being, oh, they got Skarsgård. I don't know who this fucking guy is. To me, he's just Murderbot. But apparently he's very famous, so good for them.
He's definitely the biggest name in this cast. He is part of the Skarsgård family. He is one of the sons of Stellan Skarsgård, who has been in fucking everything. He's been in Star Wars, Hunt for Red October, Mamma Mia. He was one of the potential dads in Mamma Mia. He's been in the MCU. He was in Chernobyl. He's been in everything. He also, Stellan has a number of other sons, including Gustav Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård, and Walter Skarsgård, who are other actors and have appeared in a number of other films. Mm-hmm. So it's a large acting family. Mm-hmm. If you need a tall Swede, you're likely to end up with a Skarsgård.
That sounds like some kind of folksy saying. I'm not really sure what it would represent, but that sounds like something you would hear someone say.
You need a Swede. He plays our titular Murderbot. I definitely was a little bit disappointed when I heard about, him playing Murderbot. But one of our friends mentioned to me that, like, that's definitely, because Murderbot is a genderless character. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of internet desire for, like, non-binary actors to play Murderbot, mm-hmm. or to cast a woman as Murderbot. Just, so we're not assuming that Murderbot is quote unquote man shaped. Mm-hmm. And then one of our friends pointed out to me that is exactly what, like, a security company would want a killing machine to look like.
Yeah.
It's, big giant man guard thing. And honestly, Alexander Skarsgård did a great job.
Yeah.
He had a lot of fun with this. He apparently is a fan of the book series.
Aww.
And just got to have a lot of fun with the character. Dr. Mensah is played by Noma Dumezweni, who is a South African British actress. She's been in less than Skarsgård, but she was in Only Murders in the Building, Law and Order SVU, Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams, Midsummer Murders, Fallout, The Color of Magic, Mary Poppins Returns, the live-action Little Mermaid. But her biggest, I guess, one of the biggest things she's known for is her role as Hermione Granger in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child in the West End.
Oh, did not know this.
Yes.
I was going to ask if she was a theater actor, because she kind of has that gravitas, that sort of serious actorly vibe, but the Harry Potter of it all kind of...
I mean, listen, she started playing... She was on stage from 2016 to 2018 in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Okay. I didn't realize it came out that long ago.
Oh, it's been out for a long time.
I am so blissfully out of touch, but cool.
She's also been in some of her theater credits listed on her Wikipedia page. She's also been in Antony and Cleopatra, Henry V.
Yeah.
So she is a classically trained stage actress.
I very much get that from her.
Yeah, she worked with the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Ooh.
She was in Macbeth, and Much Ado About Nothing. Played some bit parts in The Morte d'Arthur and Romeo and Juliet and Julius Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been on stage and on screen for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Garathan is played by David Dastmalchian, who I recognize mostly from Ant-Man, where he plays Kurt, one of the like team hacker. Essentially, he was also in Suicide Squad. He was in The Dark Knight. And
is he Armenian?
He, according to his early life background, his father was Iranian American.
Ah, okay. I was just looking at that last name, like,
Hang on a moment. He does a fantastic job.
Oh my god, he's incredible.
He was not how I imagined Garathan, I think. In my head, I imagined Garathan as a little bit older, like brown or blonde hair for whatever reason, a little bit thicker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, less dry.
Yeah.
But David Dastmalchian does a really excellent job with Garathan, especially because they kind of choose to bring Garathan forward as a character.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the other three Prezox characters are sort of your secondary lineup, and then you have Murderbot, Mensa, and Garathan as your sort of primary trio.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then I'm just forgetting about Bharadwaj entirely.
Oh, I was also going to say David Dastmalchian, when he's not in his Garathan makeup, super hot, very goth, looks cool. He's got great style.
Honestly, he really does. Pin Lee is played by Sabrina Wu, who is a actor and comedian. They've been in Abbott Elementary, and they were one of the co-presidents of the Harvard University Stand-Up Society. Ashke Khanna plays Rati. He has been in Red, White, and Royal Blue. He played Sean.
Oh my god! I cannot believe I didn't realize that. This is the best thing ever. I need to go rewatch Red, White, and Royal Blue now. Oh my god.
He was also in The Doll Factory and Critical Incident and Andor, I've watched Andor. I haven't watched the other two. Tamara Podemsky plays Bharadwaj. She has been in The Legend of Vox Machina, New Amsterdam, The Reservation Dogs, Heartland, Coroner, Youngblood. Again, a lot of things that I haven't watched, but that I've heard names of.
Mm-hmm.
She's Canadian and Jewish and First Nations.
Hell yeah.
Anishinaabe. And also her other sisters are also actors and appeared alongside her in Reservation Dogs.
Oh, that's fun. Little family project.
Tatiana Jones plays Arata. I recognized her immediately and couldn't remember from where. And it's because she plays Winnie Camden in 51 episodes of Flashpoint, which is a Canadian police procedural that ran from 2009 to 2012 that I watched all of.
Amazing.
She's also been in The Handmaid's Tale, for which she was nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award. She's been in The Expanse, The 100, and Orphan Black. So this is not her first sci-fi.
Oh, who is she in Orphan Black? I watched a lot. I didn't watch the entire season.
Orphan Black Echoes, specifically.
Because I was going to say, I didn't watch the entire series, but I watched a lot of it.
Yes, she was, I guess, in the follow-up series. And then I guess we'll get into the cast of Sanctuary Moon when we get to Sanctuary Moon.
That was my next...
That's got a whole other cast.
That was my next note, was about Sanctuary Moon, because we're just getting, little vignettes of all the characters doing their stuff, settling into the habitat. We get a little glimpse of Mensa's family. She has a little family picture. It's kind of just like a GIF or like a live photo where they're just sort of all smiling at the camera. Very cute, very fun. And then we get a clip of Sanctuary Moon where the first time I saw it, absolutely lost it. I love Sanctuary Moon. If Star Trek was a telenovela, that's what we're dealing with here. It's got these
honestly
bright neon colors, super slick visuals. It's just ridiculous. And I love it. I think when they were dressing and doing the hairstyles for all the characters, especially I don't remember which guy, one of the guys, was like, give him the Mayor of Whoville special. And then that's just what they did to all of them. Which, side note, I was Googling, or DuckDuckGoing, because I don't use Google anymore, the Mayor of Whoville to sort of check his vibe and make sure that I was recalling him correctly. I was. But the second result under a picture was an article titled, How to Dress Like the Mayor of Whoville.
So do you have any tips to share?
No, I didn't read it because I was busy doing actual work for the podcast, but I may go back. Because,
fair,
gay fashion tips, how to dress like the Mayor of Whoville. But it's just ridiculous. Boldness is all. I think we can agree.
Boldness is all. It definitely doesn't quite match with some of the descriptions from the book. And Martha Wells has mentioned that How to Get Away with Murder was her inspiration for Sanctuary Moon.
Mm-hmm.
So, putting it as sort of like Star Trek meets Outer Worlds meets Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds, Outer Worlds.
Outer something.
Outer Worlds was the sci-fi game I played that has the like diesel punk vibes to it. Yeah, meets Whoville, basically. Yeah, and there's a bunch of big recognizable names there, too. Later on, we get an intro sequence from The Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon, which gives us the names of the actors and who they're playing.
Oh, does it have their actual names?
No, it has, fake...
Oh, like their in-universe actor names?
Yes.
That's cute.
So, the cast of The Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon. We have John Cho, who plays Ekni Jeff Chem, who is playing Captain Hussein.
I hope you're keeping up, listeners. Take notes.
John Cho's been in a number of things. Again, also other sci-fis. He played Hikaru Sulu in the Star Trek reboots. So this is, again, not even his first faux Star Trek. He was Spike Spiegel in the live-action Cowboy Bebop.
Oh my god. I didn't watch the live-action Cowboy Bebop, but I have seen the animated version.
Yeah, it bombed.
Oh no. Cry.
But, not because of Cho.
Yeah, no, the anime was great. I'm sure he did his best.
Jack McBrayer plays Briller Mockjack, who plays Navigation Officer Hordoop Sklanch. Jack McBrayer has been in a lot of comedies. He was in Arrested Development. He did a number of roles in Key and Peele, The Big Bang Theory, Milo Murphy's Law, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Star Trek Lower Decks. He was in one episode of Grey's Anatomy. He's been all over the place. Clark Gregg plays, his actor name is Arletty, just Arletty, who plays Lieutenant Kullerv. And this is the person they put the Mayor of Whoville mustache hair onto.
Mm-hmm.
Clark Gregg, I mostly recognize from The West Wing. He was FBI Special Agent Mike Casper in The West Wing. And also, he was Phil Coulson in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, damn.
In every Marvel movie, he's the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that shows up. And also, in the long-running series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was a primary cast member.
Mm-hmm.
DeWanda Wise plays Pordron Brittany 3 Roche, playing Navbot 337 Alt 66. And then, finally, Colony Solicitor Ken Ronell, who is listed as subcontracted actor playing Colony Solicitor Ken Ronell, is played by Ron Kennel. Who's been in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Law and Order Toronto, and has done a number of voice roles in Assassin's Creed games, Starlink. Ooh, he was in an episode of Lost Girl. That was something I watched a lot of in high school. But yeah, that's our cast.
Amazing.
I know that was quite a lot of going through things. They all have very impressive resumes. I just don't watch a lot of TV.
I mean, same. That's kind of my whole shtick on the show, is that I don't know media. So I'm going, okay, this is great. But I do hope that they had as much fun as it looked like they were having. Because for all these big, serious actors to do just the stupidest fucking show within a show, it looked like it was an absolute blast. So for their sake, I hope that it was delightful.
Mm-hmm. It seems like it was a lot of fun. I wonder sort of how much freedom they had to just come up with shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything in Sanctuary Moon is very purple and very pink and very bright, and it has a very diesel punk vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very Star Trek.
Yeah.
Speaking of visuals in this first episode, I thought Port Free Commerce was really visually interesting.
Yeah, it was sort of this organic kind of combination of a hive and like the structure of an ant colony tunnel sort of thing in space.
Yeah, so I found an interview with one of the effects supervisors, the digital effects supervisors, who was saying that what they were kind of going for, because you sort of see this organic looking structure that has all of the buildings then built inside of the organic looking structure, they were kind of looking for something that would look like it was 3D printed by like robots in space.
Ooh.
And like assembled as like a framework, and then you built off of that framework inside.
Mm-hmm.
The other big visual that I noticed right away was the clothing for the Corporation Rim people,
Mm-hmm.
and then the clothing for Preservation Ox, except for Garathan. Did you notice all of the Corporation Rim people are wearing like hoodies and like blazers over them, like they're tech bros in a, Silicon Valley tech company. And, the Preservation Rim folks are definitely wearing like their own personal style. There's not really any consistency to it. Garathan is wearing a hoodie with a blazer over it, like the corporates, except his has color to it. The corporates are all sort of like beige pastel.
Mm-hmm. I also saw a Tumblr post that I wish I had saved when I first saw it that was pointing out how that outfit in particular of Garathan's has some visible mending on it. So it's sort of visibly tying him more to the preservation people, who have a lot of very cool, very fun visible mending on their clothes. But yeah, Garathan's position is immediately set up as being sort of set apart from the rest of preservation. But I don't want to spoil the details, because that's going to be next episode, I think.
That is next episode, I believe. But we do have, Garathan doesn't go immediately to the consensus circle. When they have that, that's a great little moment. When they're, having to agree to take a sec unit along, Mensa says she wants consensus, and they all get up and hum, holding hands in a little circle. And Rothy's like, Garathan, get in here. And you can tell that, yes, they do, in fact, govern by consensus, but they're absolutely doing this to make the corporates uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the pieces that they changed, and this is minor, but it was the most infuriating piece to me, I think, actually, out of anything, was they changed the word media to content.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked before on the show, way back in like episode 10 or 11 of our Lord of the Rings coverage. It's somewhere really early on. This is not content, but I am content with Faramir.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go find that episode, our intro banter there is how I hate the term content.
Yes.
And granted, it is, Murderbot uses the term media in basically the same way throughout the books. But I still feel like to Murderbot, it's less consumption focused, right? It is watching this media to ground it, not to sort of consume it and move on.
Yeah, it's really connecting with it and internalizing it and incorporating the things that it learns into its worldview and into its perspective in a conscious way. And it does talk about enjoying using media as a distraction, but it's not just completely numbing out. It's not doom scrolling. So,
right.
Although I do think that if you are new to the Murderbot universe and you're watching the show for the first time, I think that using the word content will immediately convey something effective to a new viewer. I think you do get a vibe from it that does work, but it loses some of
modern world.
It loses some of the subtlety and some of the nuance of the term media and what it means to Murderbot in sort of a big way.
Yeah, I agree. The other big visual points that I noticed from the first episode, because the first episode is basically right out of the book with the exception of us getting to see Murderbot hacking its governor module. The other piece that we get is that conversation on port-free commerce, which we learn about in the books, but not until later, so we get that in chronological order here. I noticed Bardwaj's little tattoos around her eyes. That was super pretty and just really fun to see. Like, it added an extra little sci-fi element.
Yeah.
Garathan's nails are painted.
Yes, we love it.
The company logo is a bunch of C's interlocking with each other and surrounding each other,
which I think is very clever. And we don't get a name for the company. Everyone just calls it the company, which is kind of fun. It's a little bit of a divergence from the book canon because obviously in the books, the company has a proper name and everyone is saying it. And it's SecUnit retroactively going in and editing it out. But I like that they committed to, we are not saying the name of the company. We are not giving the company a name. That's good. I like it.
I like the detail of Rati's obviously homemade necklace being on, 10 minutes after Murderbot says that Rati makes his own jewelry. I really love Arata's little tunic vest, which Bardwaj is also wearing the same thing. And I also really love Rati's sweatshirt, and I want both of them.
Yeah, they look very comfortable. It's functional, it's gear for going out on a new planet, but it's also stylish and expressive and fun. And I feel like there's just so much to take in this first episode of the show, which is why we spent 45 minutes talking about it, because it's adding this whole new dimension that we don't get. And I had saved this point for my general notes at the end, but I think I'm actually going to put it in here because it's related to the company censorship. Because we know canonically that the books are SecUnit's edited account of events. And in the show, we do get a lot of SecUnit's perspective, and there's some fun stuff with camera angles, so we know when we're seeing through Murderbot's eyes versus when we're seeing just sort of an objective view. But we get to hear its narration combined with seeing what's actually happening and getting to draw our own conclusions. And SecUnit going, oh, Garathan's so creepy. This guy sucks. He's the worst. And he's just nicely comforting Bardwaj or whatever. And you can see how very clearly SecUnit is editorializing, misunderstanding, misinterpreting different situations. So there's a lot of layers to perceive, which is very fun.
Oh, and then we get a full frontal Ken doll view of Murderbot.
Yes. The repair cubicle is not what I imagined.
No.
It's fine. It's whatever. It's sci-fi. I was expecting a just kind of depressing closet or box that it climbs into, because that's how it's described in the books. But I understand if you want it to be interesting for a TV show, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. It's not so much a cubicle as it is a platform.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Was there anything else specifically for episode 1? Because we do have 5 more episodes to get through.
No, and most of my notes for the other episodes are short.
Cool. So now that we are up to speed, episode 2, the survey begins.
No, wait, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Hit me.
I did forget there was one thing, which was my immediate thought on seeing the hostile fauna was who let Arthropleura loose on this alien planet. Arthropleura is an extinct genus of myriapod in what is now Europe and North America between 344 to 292 million years ago. Myriapod, meaning many feet.
That's kind of cute.
It was
lots of feet.
It was a giant, potentially 8+ foot long armored millipede, which is more or less what jumps out of the ground to attack Bardwaj.
Yeah.
except it has much bigger mouth parts and teeth. The teeth are uncomfortable.
There are very many of them.
And 2 mouths.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I have for chapter 1. Now we can go on to chapter 2.
Cool. Episode 2, the survey begins in earnest. We get some more detailed group dynamics among Prezox, and the vibes kind of start to shift. The first thing that I noted was Rati is the king of the nickname. He has a nickname for everyone and everything, whether they want it or not. Calling Garothan Gugu, inspired. I love it. A+.
So perfect.
A+ for Gugu.
Like, everyone calls him Gura, but Gugu, perfect.
It's so endearing. We love it. Bharadwaj, having recovered a little bit from her hostile fauna incident, comes into this secret meeting that everyone is having, high as fuck and very traumatized. It's like, hello, are we having a secret meeting? I love secret meeting. These stimulants are very effective. It's like, oh, babe, go back to bed. It's okay.
Everything is fine. I did notice, again, looking at their clothing is all modular.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of that jumpsuit that Garothan and Mensa wear. There's little zippers on the sleeves. There's a zipper at the waist. There's zippers at the knees. So there's a couple of scenes where Mensa is wearing her jumpsuit as shorts. And sometimes she's got the pant legs on. Garothan always has the sleeves on his off. Mensa has hers on. Pinlee just wears theirs as a vest.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have the like pants section and they don't have the sleeves. And then Rati is clearly wearing the pants but has kept the body section so he can tie that around his waist. And then he has his clearly like handmade sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
And then clearly the like sweater tunic dress thing that Arata and Bharadwaj also wear is clearly like a separate piece.
Mm-hmm.
But also looks like you could somehow possibly add sleeves onto that if you wanted to.
Yeah. They really do a lot to personalize the generic materials that they've been given.
But also, I really like the fact that, like, the clothing is so clearly designed for, I guess, minimalism in some ways. Like, you know, if you don't know what the planet's weather is going to be like, or you don't really know what the needs, you know, if you're doing an initial survey on the planet, and so, like, nobody's actually been there before, you might have initial scans, but you don't know what you're walking into, it makes total sense to have a, like, completely convertible piece of clothing that you can adjust based on your needs in the moment, because then also you only kind of have to bring the one piece of clothing.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, yes, I have to pack shorts and pants and a sweatshirt and a jacket and a... yeah. That's all I got for episode 2, to be honest with you.
Couple more things. So
yes.
There is a tense kind of confrontation between Garothan and SecUnit, and Garothan tries to do a dramatic swivel in his chair when he's looking at all the data on the big screens and he's trying to turn around to confront SecUnit, but it's not a swivel chair. But he's just awkwardly, he's already committed to the movement, so he's just awkwardly scooting this big heavy plastic chair until it turns around. Very good.
And he scoots it the long way around, too. Like, because that's how he was going to be dramatic. But if he was just going to scoot, he could have scooted the other direction and it would have been 3 ticks on a clock instead of 9.
Yeah, he's trying. And so there's this turbo eye contact off where Garothan knows something is up with Murderbot, but he doesn't know what, and so he's trying to be intimidating, and it's not working. But it also kind of is working, but not in the way that he's expecting. He's making SecUnit stare at him, but then we realize as the audience that Garothan also doesn't really like eye contact, and so has just gotten himself into a situation that sucks for both of them. And you can tell even from this first sort of individual interaction that SecUnit and Garothan are actually really in sync. They are very similar, and they hate it. They do not want to be friends.
Well, and I think that's why Garothan is so suspicious of SecUnit, is because he sees himself in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, and Garothan kind of knows that he can't be trusted. And so instinctively is like, well, we also can't trust Sec Unit either.
This reminds me of how I felt when we were reading All Systems Red, because I think about Garathan as our friend, our buddy Garathan, and I forget how much of a jerk he is in the first book and how Sec Unit just fucking hates him. And I feel like he's not quite so harsh in the show. I think, again, because we're seeing a more rounded view of him. Everyone obviously really likes him. And in this big confrontation, he's saying, I care deeply about my friends and I don't want you to hurt them. And it's very sweet. But he's an interesting and funny guy. And speaking of people caring about each other and having close bonds, we also get Pinley and Arata having a relationship discussion. Because we don't have oversight in the show, Pinley and Arata are married, and they are discussing opening their relationship to include Rati. Because, kids, remember, adding a third will always fix your relationship. Because they're talking about how they've been in a rut and Arata really wants to, and Pinley's obviously not as into it, but willing to give it the old college try. On the one hand, it is kind of amazing to see non-monogamy being explicitly and calmly negotiated and treated as totally normal on a mainstream TV show. That's really cool. But on the other hand, it's like, oh God. As we have said before, non-monogamy doesn't mean that you're good at relationships.
No.
This is not a good choice, but it is a funny choice. And it is very, very entertaining.
I do love the fact that, like, Sec Unit is watching them through the cameras. And then is like, oh, they're about to exchange fluids. I'm going elsewhere. And then I don't know whether it's this episode or the next episode, as they're all getting on the hopper to go to Deltfall, Pinley and Rati are doing the whole, after you, no, after you, after you. And Arata just walks by them and goes, I'll go first, as I usually do.
Personally, I was against this whole trip. Last thing I wanted was to be stuck with these people and their pheromones in a small craft.
After you?
Oh, no, after you, I insist.
Oh, I'll go first. As per usual.
I don't have a stomach, so I can't throw up. But if I did, I would.
And that was just wonderful.
So good. Other things from this episode, we are seeing Mensa's anxiety early on as a core part of her personality, not as a reveal later on like it is in the books. Because in the beginning of the books, she is just this totally calm, cool, collected leader. And this is another example of how getting the fuller picture, not just Sec Unit's perspective, changes the way that we see her as a character. I think that's really cool. And then we try to contact Deltfall, of course, no response. And then we get the first huge tone shift where we get a shot of the Deltfall habitat and there's just bodies everywhere. There is so much blood. There's so much gore in this show in a way that's really jarring. It's effective. It really hits because it's so unexpected. But contrasted against all the bright colors and positive hippie vibes, suddenly seeing just fucking carnage. That's my official review.
that was definitely because by the end of episode 2 you're like, this is a comedy. We're in a comedy. And then you suddenly get all of the shots of blood and bodies and gore and, you know, the blaring alarm. And you're reminded that the title of the show is in fact Murderbot. We're not just having happy fun times and screeching non-swivel chairs as they turn around. And a healthy dose of prolonged eye contact.
Moving on.
I don't really get the throuple storyline.
Yeah.
It doesn't really add anything for me.
It doesn't.
I guess we're trying to show that Rati's kind of a Casanova.
I guess. Yeah, it's very funny. It's entertaining. I think that there are definitely other ways that they could have established, you know, that we're in a world where non-monogamy is the norm. We could have We hear Mensa talking a lot about her kids, but not about her partners. I think that could have...
She does say at one point, my spouses did not want me to come.
But, like, she doesn't talk about them at length in the way that she does about her kids, or the way that we really linger on the throuple storyline. Maybe just 'cause it's, like, sillier, more entertaining. I don't know. But...
Probably.
Whatever. It's creative differences. That's fine. Episode 3?
Episode 3 is basically an extended fight scene.
Yeah. We are seeing what's up with Deltfall. Everyone's dead. Something is off.
When Sec Unit approaches the Deltfall habitat, they land in the hopper sort of a good ways away from the Deltfall habitat, as they do in the books, and then Sec Unit approaches alone. And when it's approaching the Deltfall habitat, I don't remember whether we were watching this together or whether we were talking about it right afterwards, and both of us commented on like the weird kind of like fisheye aperture setting, strange aperture settings that left kind of the edges of every shot very, very blurry.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I noticed they kind of do that pretty much whenever they are outside in any environment that is not just like the crater, the completely bare crater that the habitat is in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to read a fair amount about the visual effects. They filmed this in, I think it's Elora in Ontario, Canada. A lot of the filming on sets took place in Toronto, and then filming outdoors took place in that sort of Elora area around an old granite quarry. Granite? I think it was granite.
North America, granite's usually a pretty safe bet.
Yeah. I have to wonder if the weird settings are to kind of distract from the fact that it's just Canada.
Yeah. I was trying to see if it was some kind of storytelling of, are we getting a warped perspective because it's reflecting internal state? Nah, because I did notice in some of the shots where the trees were like extra crisp. Oh, this is just pretty standard somewhere in North America.
There were the like little trees in the first episode where Sec Unit walks out and is staring at the rings of the planet. And that one I tried to find so desperately if those were real trees. And I found a shot in which pre-effects, those were actually on the set, those trees. Whether or not they are real life trees, I'm not sure. The bark itself was white, so it's similar to sort of birches, but they bear a lot of similarities to either the Dendrocyclos genus of tree or to various types of bottle trees and baobab trees that have sort of that thick, rounded trunk and the little leaves at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all had straight up branches that were growing up from their very little branches coming out to the side at the top of this little bottle shape. And that is similar to the Japanese technique of daisugi,
Mm-hmm.
which it uses one trunk of a cryptomeria conifer tree to create very, very straight, very, very tall, multiple branches of these trees that then can be cut for lumber. But the tree then continues growing those because you still have the main trunk and root structure in the ground. So I don't know if those are like some sort of ornamental birch that have been pruned and shaped like that, or if that was just, they went, hey, these are some actual real shapes that we can do, and then we just paint it white and it's fine.
Yeah. They've also got these kind of Dr. Seuss truffula trees things. There are some very out there silly plants as well.
Yeah, those are practical effects. The round little things that are sticking out the side of the path as Sec Unit walks past them.
They're cute. I like them. I'm glad they're real.
And I found a shot, a pre-effects shot of Sec Unit walking past the hoppers going into the Deltfall habitat. It's just of Sec Unit walking by the quarry lake.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see in the final shot that there's green trees in the background, but they just like color shifted the trees in the front row to be like purple and red and yellow and orange. And there's one that's like silver and
it's
and
fun.
then there's green.
Yeah.
which I thought was clever and well done, but then it sort of made sense that they like blurred it all, so you can't just tell like, yes, those are just conifers.
Mm-hmm.
That's just Canada.
Yeah. Other things from this episode, we have some spying on Garathan. He obviously has some very intense, unrequited feelings for Mensa because this cast just has to be very incestuous, I guess. There's some more fun, cringy hand-holding with Rati trying to force Murderbot to participate. Does not go well. There is also a huge plot divergence from the book's reason that the survey is happening, which is that preservation needs to be economically independent, so they want the resources from this planet. And according to Mensa, there are some people on preservation who want to join the corporation rim. So she has a very strong interest in this survey working out because she needs to prove to them that they shouldn't sacrifice all of their values and sell out to the corporation. So having preservation be, if not in peril necessarily, but having its status be in question adds a lot of tension and adds a lot of good motivation, as opposed to, we are just scientists doing this because this is what we do.
It definitely also opens up room for like major plot divergences later down the line that can still, I guess, build off of the worlds of the book.
Mm-hmm.
World of the books. That was how I wanted that to sound.
All right, I get you.
It's fine. They have such a great cast here, and we know that Murderbot has been renewed for season 2. But as we all know, in book 2, Prezox doesn't appear. So the choice to either, if they want to keep this cast and keep doing stories around Prezox, I can see how they might insert like a secondary storyline with Prezox until Murderbot rejoins them, surrounding this economic situation.
Yeah.
This is where Mensa mentions her spouses,
yes.
plural, which is wonderful. But episode 4.
Yes. So in this one, Sec Unit goes down to the habitat, gets the combat override module inserted, and the Prezox crew just kind of starts to unravel. In the opening of this one, we get a couple scenes on a company factory floor, the Threshold Pass Fabrication Center, and we see Sec Units being made and the conditions of the indentured workers and the shoddy manufacturing. It was kind of unclear to me because there's a scene at the end of that intro bit where there's a bunch of Sec Unit heads in jars, and one of the worker is like, "Ew, stop staring at me, you creepy little jar head." Was that one supposed to be Skarsgård's head? It was really hard to tell because it was so warped.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
It was not clear to me if we were literally seeing our Sec Unit being made or if it was just Sec Units in general. But it was really cool to see that extra little bit and to be introduced to the idea of indentured workers in this world, which we know is very important.
We come back. I liked the little dropping performance reliability floating by Sec Unit's head and then eventually climbing back up as it sings a little song to distract the other Sec Unit enough to get its shit back online.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we get that Sanctuary Moon intro, and we are introduced to, subcontracted actor Con Rennell as Colony Solicitor Vegas, played by real-life actor Ron Kennel.
Amazing.
Which brings up some fascinating implications, actually, in episode 5.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. Well, the thing I want to say about Sanctuary Moon in this episode is we get, as we're having this catastrophic performance reliability drop, we get a Sanctuary Moon fever dream in which Sec Unit is inserting its own OC into Sanctuary Moon and just drifting in and out of consciousness and imagining itself on the set, not as an actor, but in the world as a character. And all of the other characters are turning to it and saying, execute the procedures. And it's saying, I don't know how to do it. But the pure glee on Sec Unit's face when it opens its eyes and realizes that it is in the world of Sanctuary Moon, and it's so happy to be there. And then Mensa's also there, and she's got like a cool outfit, cool hairstyle, and they're being intrepid galactic explorers together. Oh my god, it was so fun. It was delightful. It was so stupid. I loved it. I loved every second of it. And it kind of cuts in and out throughout the episode, but it was so good.
Mm-hmm. As Sec Unit sort of slowly works itself back together, and also the combat override module starts to slowly take it over.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a shift from the book a little bit. Instead of that immediately changing things, it takes like 10 minutes to download, which creates tension over the course of the episode.
Yeah. And when it's singing the Sanctuary Moon theme song to distract the other Sec Unit, the narration is, "It was completely hypnotized by my beautiful voice." Very, very good. There's lots of like flesh horror in this episode, and in the next one as well, I think. And it grosses me out massively. Just all of the slicing and inserting and squishing and fucking with flesh bits grosses me out a lot. Especially
fucking with flesh bits is usually how that works. Not always, but like usually.
I mean, there's all kinds of materials that bits can be constructed from, but in this case there are very pointedly none.
Yes.
We get Mensa with a steel chair, mining drill, when she fucking...
That was excellent.
Obliterates the other Sec Unit. And that, I think, was the first scene that really showed me that sort of classically trained actor vibe, because she was selling the fear, but also determination and disgust with herself at the act she had committed. Oh, it's so good. She's a layered character. We get a very tame thruple scuffle, which is a term that I just really wanted an excuse to say because I thought it sounds fun. Thruple scuffle.
It sounds great.
Rati is being very stupid, insisting on going out to save Mensa and Sec Unit, even though he hasn't had weapons training, and he knocks himself out with his own gun. And in the whole next episode, all throughout episode 5, he has a giant red like spot on his head from where he whacked himself.
It's so funny. Pinley calls him out for insisting on being macho, as if like that is the worst possible insult. And you can kind of see when Pinley calls him that, he visibly deflates a little bit and then is like, no, you know what, I'm still gonna go, I'm gonna go do it.
He's pulling a Sec Unit because he slept through his weapons training because he was hungover. But he and Pinley have both played what sounds like hundreds of hours of some shooter game that I should have written down the name of because it was very stupid and very funny. But they're both hardcore gamers, and he's like, I totally got this. Like, I'm really good at this game. And Arata obviously didn't know that Pinley plays this game and obviously disapproves, because I assume just because it's so violent, it's like Blood Shooter 69 or something. Not exactly that, but that's like the vibe. But he's like, I've played enough video games. This is fine. And then he's calling Arata and Pinley on the comm. Which one is the on button? Which end does the thing come out of? It's very, very silly.
And he keeps like waving the gun around in the direction of everybody else.
And they're like, stop it. Get that out.
Could you not, maybe?
But then we get a big rescue where...
A big rescue. Arata and Pinley come to the rescue.
Yeah, they stomp the other Sec Unit like a bug with the feet of the hopper, the little landing pads. They just squish it, which was kind of fun to see them have some agency in this situation. And also, I feel the same way about this as I felt with other moments with Arata in the books, seeing her have some agency and do something cool, because she risks coming off as just a little airheaded. And so it's nice to be reminded that she is an equal part of the team. She can come up with plans. She can kill Sec Units as good as anybody else.
Did Arata come up with this one, or did Pinley? Because I thought Pinley was the one who grabbed the controllers.
I think Arata comes up with it, but then we see Pinley in the window of the hopper when the camera pans up. So they're obviously doing it as a team.
Right, because Pinley goes to grab the gun and then Arata goes, hang on, no, wait.
Yeah, I got these, which is very fun.
And then Sec Unit says, you have to kill me to prevent me from murdering all of you, and ends up shooting itself. Episode 5.
Episode 5. My summary for this is the Labibi of it all. So, arguably one of the biggest changes that they make in this series is the introduction of a Deltfall survivor. It's air quotes around that.
Quote unquote.
She is introduced as a Deltfall survivor named Labibi. And she just immediately has kind of an uncomfortable aura about her. The way she acts, the way she talks is very provocative, but not in like the intellectually stimulating or sexy meaning of provocative, just that she's really immediately under everyone's skin. One of the first things she says about Sec Unit is, "Do you think it has a pee-pee?" Ma'am, you're a grown woman. Why? First of all, ew, why are you asking that? Second of all, why are you saying pee-pee? Are we two? Like...
Yes. Yeah, and then she spends a solid 30 seconds waxing poetic about Sec Unit's hypothetical dick, whether or not it could be prehensile or vibrate potentially, and we're just flashing around to the faces of everyone in the hopper in just varying shades of horror.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty egregious. I guess we'll talk more about Labibi at the conclusion of her arc, but she is a lot, and I hope that actress had fun playing her, because she is just a complete agent of chaos and is very uncomfortable to watch, but in a way that's like, obviously this actor is doing a good job.
So Labibi is played by Anna Konkle, who is a comedian. She's been on Robot Chicken, Big Mouth, Shameless. She was one of the creators and writers for the show Pen 15 or Penis, and then was in 25 episodes of that. So this sort of slightly uncomfortable, slightly funny, but funny because you're not sure what other emotions to have about it, is her wheelhouse.
Yeah, she is executing it very well. Speaking of funny, uncomfortable moments, I had forgotten that Rati, and remember, canonically, they have been together for maybe 48 hours maximum. Rati's telling Pinley that they should have a child and name it Sec Unit. Chef's kiss. It's so good.
And Pinley's like, who said anything about having a kid?
Yeah. Rati said, I think we should name it Sec Unit. What, sir? What are you talking about? We get Garathan plugging into Sec Unit's brain and doing the big reveal to the crew about the governor module. I like how they do his augments as this little sort of port behind his ear. I think this is very cool. I like it.
It's a great way of saving on makeup costs.
Yeah, just slap a thing on him.
Yeah, both makeup and effects, because we don't actually really see him messing around in the feed all that much. You just kind of see him sitting there making different facial expressions and occasionally different hand movements while there's a wire dangling from behind his ear.
Yeah, easy peasy. After the big governor module reveal, Mensa does not manage to extract this promise from Sec Unit, but she wants it to promise to protect Garathan equally as much as the rest of the crew, because she can tell that they fucking hate each other. There's plans about launching the hopper, whatever, plot. Launching the beacon. Fuck. Yeah. There's plans about launching the beacon from the hopper, plot. Mostly I was focused on Labibi being so weird to Sec Unit, giving it the most uncomfortable kiss of all time for some reason. Oh, Labibi.
It was deeply, deeply strange. I don't really understand the purpose of Labibi.
I don't either. I don't understand why she behaves the way she does. And once we cover episode 6 and we have more context, we can continue to get into that. But even knowing her endgame, I don't understand why she's like this. Maybe she's just like that.
There's one piece of the direct line from the book about the colony solicitor killing the terraforming supervisor who was the secondary donor for her implanted baby, which has fascinating implications here because we know who the colony, or at least a colony solicitor is. Colony solicitor Vegas, who is played by Con Rennell, aka Ron Kennel, aka, if you Google a picture of Ron Kennel right now, you will find a man in his mid-50s with gray hair and a fantastic jawline. And I, for one, absolutely love she-her pregnant Con Rennell with gray hair and a fantastic jawline.
Amazing.
But that's an absolute lie. She was framed by bookkeeper Wittenmark, that little snake. Yeah, Labibi, even beyond the kiss, is just deeply weird. She'll lean over Garathan and then changes her tone of voice when she's talking to, and asks,
"What is all this data?"
Do you mind?
No problem.
Yeah.
It's very strange. And she also, offers Garathan stimulants, which we'll learn more about in later episodes with Garathan's history and backstory. But anyway, the beacon explodes.
Yeah, so that doesn't go so hot. Episode 6?
Episode 6.
Episode 6, Murderbot does a murder. Finally. So the beacon explodes. Murderbot and Mensa crash. Mensa is pissed that Sec Unit deleted its copy of the Hopper repair manual to make room for media, which I don't think that anyone ever confronts it about that in the books. I don't know if anyone knows about the times when it's going, oh shit, I had a module for this and now I don't. But she goes off on it and says, this was incredibly selfish of you to endanger all of us by getting rid of this important information so you could watch a show. Go fuck yourself. It was nice to see her say, hey, this was actually not okay, my friend. So
it also is definitely a manifestation of her anxiety. Is one of the, because we see her jump to, she starts in confusion and then she jumps to anger and then she jumps to panic attack.
Yeah. We get a lot of back and forth in this one between Sec Unit and Mensa and everybody else back at the habitat. Labibi's just touching everyone all the time. She needs to stop it. She's needling people for information, making everyone just as uncomfortable as possible. She is getting lots of details from Bardwaj about the attack from the monster and sort of weirdly kisses her hand at the end of it. What?
Deeply strange.
Why? I don't know. Back on the Hopper, Mensa has a panic attack, which Sec Unit helps with an episode of Sanctuary Moon, which it insists is a soothing episode. It's very nice that it picks out a soothing episode of her. I thought that was cute. Then back to the habitat, Labibi talking about her indenture and this story about how she wants to buy a license to have a child, which absolutely sounds like something the Corporation Rim would do.
She's also now said her indenture is owned by 3 different companies. There is a notable inconsistency in her story. So she mentions Intertrav Mining Solution. She's contracted from Intertrav Mining Solutions to Deltfall. And in this episode, she says that Deltfall bought her indenture from her previous company, which had a different name. Something Controllers Limited or something like that. And so we're seeing that she's, beyond being weird, she's not trustworthy.
Yeah. And in case we needed any confirmation of that, she does pull a gun on all of our friends and demand access to hub system.
And Bardwaj asks, I love this interaction between Bardwaj and Garathan and Labibi. Is Bardwaj is trying so hard to be very, very nice. Labibi is trying so hard to get under their skin. And Garathan is just, simultaneously both the straight man and the punchline. They're talking about who pays for raising children. And Labibi asks, but where does the money come from? And Garathan, just without turning, goes, debt.
But where does the money come from?
Debt.
Scientific endeavor, hence this mission.
To which Bardwaj immediately tries to soften that, and when Labibi pulls the gun, Bardwaj goes,
Labibi, what is that?
It's a gun.
Don't make me use it.
I adore him.
And then I forget who's asking, is your story even true about the child license? She goes, no, I hate babies, which is such like a cartoon villain thing to say. Like, I hate babies and puppies and kittens and birthday parties. Like, I love it. It's very stupid. But she really wants their fucking data, and she does shoot Garathan to try and get it.
In the kneecap.
Yeah, she is ready to back up her words with actions. While this is happening, Mensa does this spine surgery on Sec Unit because they're trying to use some of its, materials to fix the hopper. I fast forwarded through it because it was too gross for me. It really, just like something about like the explicit slicing and poking around in there grossed me out so viscerally. I didn't watch it the first time, and I didn't watch it the second time. So I don't know if anything else happens in there because I didn't see it.
Again, we sort of have the one character showing all of the emotion and the other character being perfectly stoic.
Mm-hmm.
Murderbot is, sitting on the chair, walking Mensa through this procedure, and at one point just puts up its hand and goes, scalpel. And, Mensa puts the scalpel in its hand, it puts it down, and then it picks up wrench. Hands Mensa the wrench, and then things happen, and it goes, wrench, puts that down, scalpel. Just entirely straight-faced, doesn't seem to care. But we do get the drop that human cloned neural tissue is used in transports.
Yes.
So some nice foreshadowing for certain future characters that may or may not feature in season 2.
I'm going to have such high expectations for season 2. I have to just have an open mind and let it be whatever it is, because this season surprised and delighted me. I'm sure season 2 will just surprise and delight me, but they've got to fucking deliver on art.
I really hope they deliver on art. But speaking of blood and things being uncomfortable.
Yes, so this spine surgery hopper repair thing does work. They get back. Murderbot and Mensa stumble into this hostage situation where Labibi's now gotten the throuple down, and so everyone is in this room freaking out. And on sight, immediately, Murderbot shoots Labibi. She's decapitated. She's dead. And the humans, would you believe it, are so ungrateful. They don't appreciate this nice thing that Sec Unit has done for them. And we get all of Prezox just absolutely fucking losing their minds. Garathan was right next to her, and he's going, you could have killed me. And Murderbot goes, yeah, well, I didn't. And so they're all deeply traumatized. And we get a monologue voiceover about how the humans got too comfortable with Sec Unit too quickly. They forgot what it is made for. And it kind of enjoyed reminding them that it's not part of their little team. It's not their friend. It is their contracted Sec Unit. And it has no regrets about what it did, but it doesn't mind putting that wall up between them for now.
That is all I have.
Do we want to circle back to Labibi?
Yeah, let's circle back to Labibi. She reveals that she's working for another company. She was never working for Deltfall. She was never a Deltfall survivor. I feel like the massive shift in her personality once she pulls the weapon suggests that, like, her previous weirdness was kind of an act.
Mm-hmm.
Or almost entirely an act. To what end? I'm not 100% sure what she was trying to use that for. If she makes them all super uncomfortable, what does that get her?
Yeah, especially stuff like the weird kiss with Sec Unit. Like, she can't get anything from Sec Unit. At least, I don't know, the other humans could maybe think, oh, she's misguided, but she's nice. But she makes them uncomfortable. And when she's having the whole pee-pee discussion, Bardwaj says, hey, where we're from, we don't talk about constructs like that. Like, what you're doing is disrespectful and uncomfortable. Please stop. And so if she's trying to get access to their information, why not behave in a way that would make them like and trust, if not still underestimate her? Instead, she's just going for maximum weird.
I think this is similar to in System Collapse, Supervisor Leonid not understanding the Presox, the joint Presox university group, and seeing every interaction as transactional.
Yeah.
I think Labibi is seeing it, doesn't understand preservation and doesn't understand like their desire to help people. I think she's just sort of maybe assuming that she will be annoying enough that they will like leave her alone and then she can go about her spy work. But they don't leave her alone.
Yeah.
They assume she's traumatized, and so then they try to help her. And she just fundamentally doesn't get it.
Even at the very end, even after she shot Garathan, Bardwaj is saying, we can get you out. You don't have to be in this situation. We can take you home to preservation with us. You can be free. You can do whatever you want. She's saying, yeah, but will that get me millions of credits? I just want money. And they're just so fundamentally misaligned with what they value. But they just keep trying to connect with her anyway, which is kind of sad.
Do you have other thoughts from this first batch of episodes? Any more thoughts on visual adaptations, story adaptations?
We basically touched on everything that I had in my notes. The only other little thing was the feed, in that we don't really see other characters using it. We see Garathan in the feed a little bit, but mostly when we're seeing the perspective of the feed interface, it's from SecUnit's point of view, of these little floating information bits and bobs, which is pretty similar to how I pictured it, which is cool. But mostly when we're seeing the humans communicate with each other, it's via the comms, which are a physical little, I don't know, kind of the size of like a cigar, I guess, item that they hold and talk into, like a little microphone, which is kind of cute. I imagined the comms as being somehow kind of like a Star Trek comm badge, like integrated into their environments in such a way that it wasn't something they needed to physically hold, like a walkie-talkie. But it's kind of fun just for visual storytelling reasons to see, okay, they are talking into this thing and holding it. It is clear what they are doing, as opposed to they're just speaking into the void.
That's very, very Star Wars.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
The other piece that's very, very Star Wars, I thought, was the language, the written language that we see on screen. The very angular written language resembles, I did not see if it's, I don't think it's actually Orabesh, but it resembles really closely the Star Wars language, Orabesh.
I did recognize that because I don't know if I've talked on the podcast before about my deep anthropological fascination with Disney World. I am not a Disney adult. I do not have positive feelings about the Disney family of companies. I have no desire to go to Disney World ever. But during the height of the pandemic, I consumed hundreds of hours of travel guide content about Disney World. And I know so much about Disney Galaxy's Edge. And so I've seen so much of their, Orabesh space writing that I did recognize it from hundreds of hours of Disney food blog videos.
Yeah, I don't think it was actually Orabesh.
But it looks like it.
But it was very similar in design.
It seems to be a nod, perhaps.
Perhaps. I really enjoyed the hopper design. Apparently they built a drone.
Oh, that's fun.
So they could practically fly the hopper. And then otherwise they had 2 hopper sets they had in 2 separate locations that would be leapfrogged around. They'd finish filming in one location and then they'd go to another location where they'd set up the other hopper, and then at that first location, the team would deconstruct that hopper and move it to the next location they needed it. So the, like, I can't call them propellers because they're just rings. They said they modeled it after like a Dyson Airblade. Like the like fans that are just that circle. Yeah, the not a propeller, but a propeller housing essentially.
Yeah, I get you.
That's all digital. And the front cockpit is digital. Mm-hmm. But the like body of the hopper is a physical set.
I love that. I feel like you can really tell just the tactile nature of the physical sets. That makes me happy. Physical
effects always look better. Mm-hmm. That is my opinion as we are doing visual media. My opinion is practical effects are always better.
Can we make that a law of something? We haven't really revisited our laws of fantasy, laws of sci-fi in a hot minute. That might be something good to do at the end of next episode. But I think we can make physical effects always look better a rule for just all visual media.
Yes. Fandom Apprentice's rules of visual media, rule number 1, practical effects are always better.
I also do love the little bit of irony of this being an entirely audio medium that we, as the people who are not doing any visual effects, we're just gonna decide what's objectively true about visual media. I love that.
Clearly. Yeah, this is our challenge as critics, is neither of us have any skill in filmmaking, digital media, digital effects. I can, do some basic photo editing and like very, very basic 3D modeling type stuff that I've done in the past, but I am by no means an animator. So more power to these people with incredible skills, but to, have an actor actually interacting with a practical effect, I feel like you get a better performance from the actor. Mm-hmm. And a better response from the audience. And practical effects change. Like, our perception of practical effects changes. If you watch, like, James Cameron's Blue People Avatar movie now, like, at the time it was released in, was it 2004 or something ridiculous like that?
It was 2014-ish?
Wow,
2013,
I was off by a
2014.
decade.
We were in high school.
Okay, I was off by a decade.
Whoopsie.
It was like the height it was the height of like CGI animation. Mm-hmm. You watch old like Star Trek, like TNG stuff where they had like early CGI things, or you watch like the prequel trilogy in Star Wars, where they used a lot of CGI effects. And you can now see the CGI effects. We talked about it when we were talking about the Lord of the Rings movies, mm-hmm. and the green screen that they had Pippin and Merry in front of when they were sitting on Treebeard's shoulders. And Treebeard was a practical effect. Treebeard was a model, mm-hmm. but you could see the halo of the green screen around Merry and Pippin, which, audiences might not have noticed, in the days before 4K Ultra HD televisions, and also before, we got so used to those kinds of effects that was things that like high schoolers were doing now mm-hmm. in their Photoshop classes. So the pace of CGI advances so quickly, and now we have AI generated things that can pass for real for now, that when you go back to these older CGI effects, they just simply don't hold up.
Yeah.
But there are times when like I'll rewatch The Empire Strikes Back, and all of that's practical effects, and yeah, sure, some you can tell like, well, that's a miniature. They're definitely that's a stop motion miniature movement that they're doing there. But it's still like, but it doesn't stand out as jarring to the environment as a CGI effect could.
You mean yeah.
As a CGI effect, the CGI effect would stand out as like much more jarring in
I get you.
in the space. Yeah. But I think they did a good blend of practical sets and CGI effects here. And we can talk more about production and things next time. Next time we will cover the last 4 episodes of the season, and we will make our big announcement about what's happening for season 3.
Can you believe we have a show that is going to go into its 3rd season? Isn't that wild?
Not that our seasons are any sort of consistent length, but yes, that's ridiculous.
It's cool for us. It's a cool milestone.
Yeah, this is our current plan. Obviously, our next episode comes out on December 23rd. And following that, our next episode would be in the new year. We're considering taking a very short break. Couple of episode cycles, and you should see us no later than February in your feed. The new content that... There I am using my own word that I despise. But that is the word that we use now.
When you're getting ready for Valentine's Day with the Kraken boyfriend that you met over Christmas, you can listen to the Fandom Apprentice together in your pool.
Being horny about new characters.
Yeah.
That we can be horny about again, because we won't have Murderbot as our main focus. But anyway, thank you for listening. This is our sign off for now, I guess. Whether you are listening when this comes out in early December, or whether you are listening far later down the line, we hope you are staying warm or cool if you're listening later or from the Southern Hemisphere somewhere, and you are enjoying. Fuck. One of these days. This is my goal for season 3.
Okay.
My goal for season 3 is a consistent intro and a consistent sign off.
I love that for you. I think you're doing amazing.
I love the doubt I see in your face.
I like the variety. I like all the stuff that you say. But if it is important to you to be consistent, then I support that goal.
If you would like to hear my journey towards consistency, you can subscribe to our podcast on whatever podcast platform you're currently listening on, and on any other podcast platform you may have access to. Just pump up our numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
You can also follow our social media on any social media we are on. We are on there as @FanAppPod, FANAPPPOD. You can always send us an email at thefandomapprentice@gmail.com, and we will get back to you within 3 business days. That's the most likely way you're going to get a response. I check the other social medias infrequently. I do check them, but infrequently.
Our Tumblr is really good. If you're still on Tumblr, our
Tumblr is actually great.
It's great. There's good stuff on there.
Anyway, we will see you next time with the last 4 episodes. And we'll talk about more production and effects and the production team and maybe the music a little bit next time around. So that's what you've got to look forward to. But in the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful 2 weeks, and we will see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
The Phantom Apprentice is produced and edited by Rin and Sam. Our music is composed and performed by James. You can find more of his work on Spotify and Bandcamp under Beiruz, Baeruz. Our art is by Casey Turgeon. You can find more of her work at KCT Designs on Instagram. The content discussed is the property of the original copyright holders and is used here under fair use. Perfect man, he's
Baby
so
Cam.
sleepy.
Yeah, he's just snoozing.
Oh, a man.
If he's evil,
A boy.
he'll go in his crate. But I figure it's, in terms of sound, exactly the same for him to be there as it is to be in the crate. And if he's just sleeping, then it's fine. But if he starts farting loudly or something, then anything's possible.